Yeah, life is just so much easier kind of when you assign like I guess like fears or like your failure or whatever to like some unknown other and just, kind of hope that or like continue to put faith into the people who have been betraying you for so long, right? It's so much harder to be like, wait a second, these people I voted forever actually don't give a fuck about me.
Yeah. And I mean, I can't really blame anybody for thinking that with how how little representation there is in Congress of the American people. And
Mm-hmm.
I think Congress regularly has an approval rating of less than 15%. So
Yikes.
I I think I understand why people might feel that way, but I really don't think that there's not enough will there to support some of Bernie's policies. I think when people see that there are figures in the government that could represent the public very well, I think that'll give people a lot more hope in government, a lot more hope that their vote will be um,
Mm-hmm.
meaningful and it will go towards something.
Well,
So
I guess it really depends, right? Because if Bernie brings in like a blue wave, right, and a lot of people who get like elected to Congress are, I guess, like kind of progressive or blue, um, I don't think we'll have the same effect that Trump did, but maybe more leniency, right? Um, because like the thing is, like Trump wasn't technically a Republican, right? Like he wasn't really a Republican, and now Republicans are basically like kissing his ass.
yeah,
Um,
Trump was just as much not a Republican as Bernie's just as much not a Democrat. They're both
yeah.
kind of outsiders in their own way. They're both different forms of populist. One's just a liar, and the other's
Yeah.
not.
But then the problem with that is like, I think at the end of the day, like when it comes to like corporate interest, right? If they have to choose between Trump and Bernie, they will choose Trump every day.
Oh yeah,
Um,
totally, hands down.
yeah. So I think like a lot of these Republicans that like got in, um, had more of a duty, like they were kind of like pro corporations, pro that. Um, so it's not like what is it? They were more beholden to the corporate interests than to the people, and I feel like whoever gets like the majority of people who will get in next election cycle will probably still be in that same vein of being beholden to corporations instead of the people.
Yeah, that's something the Tea Party type people get to have their cake and eat it too because they
Mm.
get to play on this real populist thing. They're anti the establishment, they're for the people, they're for the Republican base, but
Yeah.
then the establishment knows they're going to still do their bidding once they get into office, so they get the support from both sides. The populist left is having to fight an uphill battle the whole way because they're only, taking money from the people, not taking any big money. They're actually reforming the system from the ground up. So that's the big difference there.
Yeah. I just it's so funny because like so many people who are against like the Democratic Party who are like who hate it because of like its corporate interests, which I totally understand, right? Kind of don't see that the same thing is still happening with Republicans. Um, yeah, they go like I remember having a conversation in a podcast the other day where they were like, oh yeah, but like at least Republicans are honest about it, and I'm like, that doesn't like even really make it any better.
Yeah, I think I heard this might be a
Mm-hmm.
quote from Kyle Quincy, like a Republican is a wolf, and a corporate Democrat is just a wolf in sheep's clothing. So at least the Republicans are sometimes upfront about it, like they'll defend
Mm-hmm.
corruption, point they'll just say it, but the corporate Democrats have to kind of weasel their way out of it.
Yeah.
Like Pete Buttigieg said recently, he doesn't want to unilaterally disarm himself by tying one hand behind his back, going
Oh
into a general
God.
election by not taking corporate money.
And corporate Democrat.
But whereas Republicans will say, "Oh no," they'll come with some constitutional logic where they say, "Oh no, taking corporate money is defending our freedom. We have the right to take corporate money because
It's freedom of
corporations."
speech.
Yeah.
Yeah, so at least they'll have some sort of thing they can come up with to defend it.
Yeah. No, it's bad. It's no either. I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting in a few years when not like, not to be like too abrasive or whatever, but when like boomers die, like how the Republican Party is going to transform. And I think that's why they're trying really hard to indoctrinate young people, right? That's why they're trying really hard with the PragerU and the memes and the like little echo chambers online, because like it's if they don't get like a bigger base soon, they're gonna go extinct, you know?
Yeah, and the Democratic Party has already kind of evolved in a way, because now you see basically every Democrat, even the corporate Democrats, they're socially liberal.
Yeah.
They're fully with minorities and the women's movement and all this stuff, and that's great. But on economics, on fiscal problems, they're still very much in the center, if not somewhat center right.
Yeah.
So the Republican Party, like, what demographic do they have to evolve into? The Democrats already have the corporate and socially liberal. The Republicans are corporate and socially, authoritarian,
Yeah.
or they're conservative. So
That's the whole thing about conservatism. It focuses on like sticking with the past, and I just like I can't get behind it because historically speaking, we only get better by moving forward.
yeah, but I'm just saying, like, what demographic is there for the Republicans to evolve into? Like, I think they've worked themselves into a corner, so to speak, because they don't really have anywhere to go. Their demographics
Yeah.
are just going to die out because they're mostly older people, and the I think most young people. I don't have an exact statistic, but they're overwhelmingly with the Democratic Party or independent.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So
I feel like honestly though, if conservatives like focused on basically trying to attract minorities, basically, if they weren't like so, I guess, like racist, right? They would probably be like maybe even a majority, right? Because a lot of Hispanics, even like Asians as well. I'm not 100% sure of black people.
yeah,
but
definitely.
yeah, very conservative values there.
Yeah, I think
Mhm.
in states like Florida and Texas, that's the real problem. Is if only they weren't racist, they'd be able to get a lot of those Hispanic votes, because a lot of Hispanics are very religious or traditionally culturally conservative.
Yeah.
So I think if the Republican Party wants to evolve anywhere, they should take a um, advice from the Libertarian Party,
Mhm.
because the Libertarian Party, they have that fiscally conservative, but they're very socially libertarian and liberal. So
Yeah, that's the
that's
thing.
one route that they could take.
That's the thing. I also think what I don't think you realize is that the kind of gap for that is also closing and closing, because second and third generations tend to be very very liberal, or like very much more liberal than their parents, right? And you can argue it's like an effect of seeing how how their parents have been treated and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
And having like the freedom to kind of go beyond like I guess like conservative values, because like, oh, America, everybody do what you want, despite being in a culture that's so like restrictive,
Yeah.
so yeah, so if the Republicans like don't jump on that, like, because for me honestly I only see that as like basically the only opening left, kind of. They're kind of like fucked in the future, unless if we can get into like the whole idea of rigged elections and stuff like that.